It's first pitch. I'm the Prez. I got the girls behind me.
Woo!
Avery, Priyanka, and my daughter,
Maddie.
Alice.
Enough with the Alice.
Alice.
Alice? No.
Who the fuck is Alice?
No. Alice is a name you call somebody when they have a 15-foot putt and they putt at 12 feet. You say, nice putt, Alice. That's
Okay.
the only time that never gets used other than that.
My daughter, Madison, and her
What's that?
amazing friends. And Priyanka did not bring me any butter chicken.
Sorry. Whoops.
Drew,
Okay, bye.
Prez, how are you?
good.
Thanks for joining us, girls. And Dave Cokin, the legendary Dave Cokin. It's been a while, man. I'm happy to be on a show with you.
Well, this is going to be a much more regular thing for me moving forward. So
Yeah. And
hopefully
let's
that's
explain.
exciting news.
It's first pitch. I'm the Prez. Dave Cokin with us. Drew Martin from sportsmemo.com. And guys, we're going to have a Dave Cokin sighting Monday to Friday. He will be on first pitch every day with the Prez because, damn it, we need someone old.
Yeah, and someone who's just completely obsessed with baseball doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm obsessed with Scrabble right now. I'm really bad at it. My girlfriend is winning 16-2.
Well, if she wants a challenge, I'll take her on.
My friend Brian is amazing at Scrabble. His high score is 640.
I don't know what mine is. It's 6 something.
Yeah, I'm a disaster, dude. Like, seriously, a disaster. Like, I come up with, like, really strong words like bad and rad and sad and...
You got to learn to cheat, buddy.
Yeah, she watches over me like a hawk. She won't play unless we're in front of each other. I can't do it on the phone. But yeah, I'm obsessed with Scrabble right now. Baseball, I can't even watch, but I bet it all the time, and I'm on a 4-0 baseball run. I love betting the sport. I mean, it's my favorite sport to bet, period. I just literally cannot watch 9 innings of baseball. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. A guy stands up, throws the ball, other guy tries to hit it. It's like, come on, man. But
Well, you know, it's a cerebral sport, so it kind of ties in with your inability to come up with more than 3-letter words at Scrabble, I guess.
nicely packaged, Dave Cokin. So, guys, Dave Cokin will be joining us Monday to Friday, and we'll always have another guest on. Basically, how we're going to do this show from here on in, we're going to take apart every game on the board. I will go to one of you for your thoughts on the game, and then the second one of you gets 30 seconds to talk about the same game. Sportsmemo.com, $2 Tuesdays. Drew, what's going on over there?
$2 Tuesdays it is. I am the featured capper. We got 78% in May, plus 12% ROI for the year in MLB. So you can grab my 5% top-rated play at sportsmemo.com right now. It's only $2, so check it out at sportsmemo.com. Also, the daily podcast when you're done with the first pitch with Prez and Dave Cokin. Check it out, talking sports every day on the Sports Memo podcast.
At WagerTalk.com, our $2 Tuesday is Carmine Bianco. It is an NHL play. It's a 5-unit NHL play for only $2. And if you do purchase it, you will get a special deal on the legend Dave Cokin's baseball play.
I have a 4% play on the side tonight, and also for all access people, I have a first 5 under. I don't generally not sell those as promoted packages because some people can't play them or are just uninterested. But so there are actually 2 plays tonight, and we're plus about 50% bankroll boost net for the last 5 weeks in baseball.
That's phenomenal, Dave.
It's cooking right now.
Yeah, that is. I mean, those are rare. That's rarefied air. That's Brian Leonard baseball stuff.
Let's go.
That we will. New York Yankees 24-16. Against Baltimore, 14-26 on the season. 72% of the money is coming in on the Yankees. They are minus 235 to 250. The over and under is 8. Baltimore's lost 4 of their last 5. The Yankees have won 3 of their last 4. J.A. Happ on the mound, playing Andrew Kashner. I'm going over the total in this game. Drew, I go to you first.
Real quick here, Prez, I'm not looking to step in front of the Yankees. They've been playing well, like you touched on. Baltimore, one of the worst teams in the major leagues, maybe the worst, on the road in Yankee Stadium with Kashner on the hill. I don't like that scenario at all. Only way I would look at this is seeing the low water mark at minus 215 on the Yankees. That's the way I would look. Just can't recommend betting that high a number with the Yankees, and also shy away from the run line with home team. 9 at-bats to 8 at-bats, so it was a quick pass for me.
Dave Cokin?
Nothing of note on this game. It's priced about right. Yankees should be about $2 favorites. The total at 8.5. The over is a little bit juiced. I would not go over that number. Castro and Happ, at least both of them are coming in off positive starts, and I don't like going over in games where the 2 pitchers are off good starts, so I left that game alone completely.
You're listening to First Pitch. You can hear us every day at WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel, the largest sports handicapping YouTube channel in the world. We are about 5 or 6 days away from a massive, gigantic, business-changing announcement. Stay tuned. And also, Dave, on Friday, you and Brian Leonard will be on First Pitch, and we are actually going to spend half the show delving into how each of you handicap baseball and come up with your own lines and the processes that you use. So make sure, everybody, to check out Friday's show. It is going to be very informative. Cincinnati, they're hosting the Cubs. The Cubbies are on fire, boys. 24-14 on the season, up 5 units of money. Cincinnati 18-23, down 4 units. I think Cincinnati's a bet-on team for the next little while. They have won 3 of their last 4 games. Chicago just can't lose. They just beat Milwaukee 2-1 in the series. They won 3-1 against Miami. They swept St. Louis. We got Cincinnati at home, Dave, at plus 110. The over and under here is 9.5. We are starting to see Cincinnati's bats come to life. I have mentioned all year that they will be an over team. They are 14-26 to the under, Dave. I think if you bet Cincinnati blind and the over for the next few months, I think we're going to see a fix in that over-under, and I think those will actually be good bets, and I have no problem with you starting tonight.
Hendricks and Roark on the mound, and Hendricks has really put it together in his last couple of starts. He just wasn't getting the K rate was way down early, but he's been brilliant in his last 2 starts. He had that 81 pitch complete game shutout where he was getting soft contact all day long. Last start out, he was just as good, basically a little bit different in terms of how the game set up. He got more strikeouts and had to use more pitches, but he's in good form. The Cubs are not a team I want to get in the way of right now. But bear in mind, Hendricks has not had a good road start yet this season. Those last couple of starts were at home, and he's got to show he can do it on the road. Nevertheless, Cubbies express right now. And the one thing in the Reds, if it's a close game, they usually don't win. And that to me makes it difficult to back Cincinnati. I think it's priced pretty close to where it should be. I made it a little bit less, but not enough to warrant playing Cincinnati.
Drew, any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, but Dave brought up some good points there. I will say, Hendricks' last 17 innings, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and 0 walks, always around the plate, going against this Reds lineup that struggles against righties. And they do have a slightly better bullpen, the Reds do, but I don't think it makes up for the difference in the difference in lineups. The Cubs lineup is a lot better. They've been playing great baseball, and at minus 123 here on the Cubs, I think it's priced too low. I like the Cubs. I bet it personally as a short road favorite.
He's Drew Martin. Dave Cokin's with us every day. Dave will be with us, my new co-host. Philadelphia against Milwaukee, guys. Very similar records. Milwaukee 24-19, Philly 24-16. Both of them up 4.5 units of money on the money line, but only Philadelphia is up on the run line. So they're getting it done with bigger bats than Milwaukee. Philly won last night 7-4. We got a soft line, minus 104 for a home Philadelphia team. The over.
Brewers are favored in the game. It's minus 115. Brewers are the favorite.
104 for the home team, 114 for the road team, give or take. 8.5 or 8 in some places for the total. Woodruff versus Eichhoff. Gerard is pitching unbelievable here, guys. 1.5 ERA in 30 innings pitched, 0.97 whip. And the bottom line for me is I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to take Philadelphia at the short number. Drew?
Yeah, Prez, you brought it up. Similar profiles here. As I was breaking this game, I was kind of surprised at how similar these teams' stats are. Both bullpens, depending what numbers you look at, right in the middle, 13 and 14 is what I have them at. Also, the starting pitchers. Eichhoff, last 20 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. That's through 3 starts, 17 strikeouts. He's on fire right now. And Woodruff, he's been consistent. He's a guy that I haven't seen, a lot of and didn't really expect him to be this good. But 1 earned run in his last 3 games, so in each of his last 3 games. So he's been very consistent. Middling offenses in terms of stats. So I think that this price is about right. If you made me bet it, I would be on the short home underdog in Philly.
Dave Cokin.
There's some excitement here. One of the there's 3 prospects that get called up today. And one of them is Keston Weira, who's second baseman, and he is a big-time prospect, a really big-time prospect for the Brewers. He's on a lot of people's top 10 overall prospect list, and he'll go right into the lineup. The lineup isn't out yet for tonight, but I would expect that he'll be playing for Council. I think Travis Shaw might be the odd man out because he's just not swinging the bat at all. And Drew touched on the pitching here. Woodruff and Eichhoff are both in excellent form. So even in a tough little ballpark for pitchers like Citizens, this could be a game where the pitchers rule. I like going with hot pitchers, and I think you've got a good chance of a somewhat of a duel tonight between Woodruff and Eichhoff.
Washington hosting the New York Mets. Very disappointing start to the season for Washington. 16-24 on the year. They're down 14 units on the money line and 14 units on the run line. The New York Mets, tough start for them as well. 1 game below 500. 64% of the money is coming in on New York. Dave, I go to you first. We got Washington as a home dog at plus 120 to 125. The over and under is 8. And, listen, the New York Mets beat Miami 2 games in a row. Big whoop. They lost the series to San Diego. They got swept by Milwaukee. Neither of these teams are bet on teams at this particular moment. Syndergaard just has not had a good season at all. Even in his last 3 games, Dave, 1-1, 4 ERA. If I'm going to bet this game, I'm going to bet it over the total of 8.
Well, Hellickson's just been terrible. So there's not much to say about him. And the Mets, unfortunately, they don't have much offense. So I don't know if the Mets can exploit that. The Syndergaard just has not put it together. Now, he was brilliant 2 starts back. Absolutely fantastic. And that was a 1-0 game where he hit the home run. And then he goes out last start and reverts back to negative form. And the Nationals are getting some people back offensively, but they're just a train wreck right now. I would only consider the Mets, and I'm not really interested in laying $1.40 or $1.45. Syndergaard just hasn't been consistent. A lot of pressure on Callaway right now. If the Mets don't do well over the next 2 weeks, Callaway will be the first manager fired.
Drew Martin.
Yeah, I'll try to go as quickly as possible. I actually like this under, guys. It was at 9. I see a 9 out there at Heritage right now. A couple reasons why. Syndergaard, off of extra rest, is a lot better pitcher. You know, a power pitcher. He's getting a full week here. He hasn't pitched since May 7th at the San Diego Padres. Longer rest has really helped him in the past, so I like that. Also, Hellickson on the other end, he's not a top-line pitcher by any means, but his last 2 games at Philadelphia, at Milwaukee, a lot better lineups than he's going to be facing tonight. 13 strikeouts, only 3 walks, 9 innings combined. So this total as high as 9 right now against 2 offenses. The Nationals are banged up. The Mets offense, bottom 10 in MLB. I think this is too high, and at the high water mark of 9 right now, I like the under in the Mets-Nationals game tonight.
I think the bad news is that I'm looking at my screen, and it's been bumping over the last 5 or 10 minutes, and it's now down to 8 at times, 8 at Pinnacle, 8 at South Point. You still get 8.5 at Westgate, but I think those 9s are toast. So a lot of people thinking, at least let the sharp market to be thinking along with you, Drew.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for all of them to bet it, and then I'm going to take the over. Boston hosting Colorado. Boston's turned it around, 22-19 on the season, playing really good ball. Colorado 19-21 on the season. Both teams are playing to the under right now. Colorado won 3 of their last 4 games. Boston is just rolling. They've won 5 in a row. They've won 8 of 10. You know, Chris Sale on the mound tonight. Real tough start to the season for Chris Sale, but his last 3 games, we're starting to see him come alive. A 1.29 ERA in his last 3. 21 innings pitched, only 10 hits, 32 strikeouts. So Chris Sale is back and in great form. Drew, I go to you. Minus 250 for the Red Sox tonight. The over and under is 8 to 8.5. And, you know, here's the bottom line from my perspective. The Red Sox are minus 6 units if you bet them on the run line. And they're also a home team, which means they only get 8 at-bats. I like them on the run line. Bottom line, I think it's going to be a blowout.
You know, you touched on Chris Sale, and we could see it kind of coming. You know, he didn't really get his full extended spring training, so out the gate, that's when he struggled, but now he's getting it together, and the market's onto it. I mean, over minus $2 against this Rockies lineup that can be pretty good. Their bullpen isn't very good. The only way I would look is towards Boston, but at this price tag, I guess, you know, towards your run line, I just don't like the 8 at-bats to 9 at-bats, so I would look towards Boston minus 225. I just think it's too pricey, so I laid off.
Dave Cokin.
Well, you know, Chris Sale has got his velocity back to the mid-90s. And when Sale's right, he is, I believe, the most unhittable pitcher in baseball. And I think the Rockies lineup is better configured to face righties than lefties anyway. And Kyle Freeland is just a train wreck right now. I mean, he is really struggling for the Rockies. And they're running into a Boston lineup that has gotten hot. J.D. Martinez has found his home run stroke. Mookie Betts is looking good. Rafael Devers is on a tremendous run right now. Boston looks like all systems go at this point. This could be a very difficult series for the Rockies.
Miami at 10-29, worst team in baseball, hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. Good one, Lawrence. That's what went through my head, Dave.
Well, the Marlins have a better chance to beat the Lightning than they do the Rays, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it'll be close against the Lightning. Yeah, I think it would be close. The Rays are 24-15 on the season, 29 games above 500, and yet they haven't made their clients 1 unit of profit if you bet them on the money line. But they are one of the best run line teams in all of baseball, up 10 units if you bet them on the run line. Both these teams are playing to the under. Tampa Bay minus 129 to 137. And over and under, Dave and Drew, of 6.5. I normally take those games over blindly, but Caleb Smith's on the mound, and I mean, this guy is just all world right now. What a ridiculous start to the season, a 3-0 win-loss with a team he's accounted for 30% of their wins. His whip is under 0.9, his ERA is 2.11, and the worst part about it, for teams facing him, his last 3 games are even better. 19 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, only 12 hits, 4 runs allowed. I gotta take Caleb Smith at plus 115. Dave?
Well, the Marlins, I think here's the psychology of baseball, which I'll talk about for a second here. Look, no matter what anybody says, what Mattingly says about being competitive or Derek Jeter, this team knows it stinks, okay? They know they're terrible. But when they're not terrible and when they feel they've got a chance to win is when Caleb Smith is on the mound. He's clearly their best pitcher. He's almost assuredly going to be their all-star representative, assuming he stays healthy, in the Midsummer Classic.
Yep.
He actually played pretty good baseball when Caleb Smith's on the mound. And you go back to last year, I think they're 9-4 in his last 13 starts. Problem is he's up against a guy who can completely shut down this pathetic Miami offense, and Charlie Morton. Morton wasn't great in his last start. He had some command issues, but even in that start, he managed to minimize the damage for the most part. I looked at the under in this game, and I looked at it particularly in the first 5. I like playing first 5 unders rather than full games.
Agreed.
I don't like being involved in these completely erratic bullpens. I actually posted this as a free play and then didn't bother with it. 3.5 under for the first 5, but it's juiced to minus 125, and I don't like going over minus 120. So I left it alone, but the only thing I would consider here would be first 5 under with Morton and Smith pitching.
Drew Martin, any quick thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I agree with Dave as far as the first 5 under look. Also, great stats there with the Marlins being the side and really making money with Caleb Smith on the hill. Keep in mind, Tampa Bay interleague, they lose their DH coming over in this Sunshine Series. And one side note here is Charlie Morton. He did struggle last time out, like Dave touched on. He's also struggled in this ballpark in the past. Some more reasons to look towards the fish here at the plus price.
Although a little caveat is that, a lot of those old Morton numbers were when he was one of the worst pitchers in baseball, which he sure isn't anymore.
Dave Cokin with us, Drew Martin with us. You're watching First Pitch Monday to Friday. You can find it at our YouTube channel, WagerTalk TV, and every day from here on in, Dave Cokin will be joining me. Let's get to the next game. Detroit hosting Houston. Houston up slightly under 3 units of the season on the season, and so is Detroit. Literally, we have a 27-15 team and an 18-21 team, and both of them have made basically the exact same amount of money for you if you've bet them on both the money line and the run line. Detroit's at home tonight. They're plus 180 to 190. Houston at minus 210 to 220. The over and under is 10.5 here. Houston, Dave Cokin, absolutely rolling. They've won 6 games in a row, and their bats are on fire. 8 last night, 15 the night before, 11 the night before that. Detroit, they've only won 2 of their last 5 games. With that said, I cannot take Wade Miley on the mound at minus 220. If anything, if there's a play for me here, it's Houston on the run line.
Well, Miley has now got, it's an amazing streak. He's now got 23 consecutive starts. All of his starts last year plus all of his starts this year with 3 or less earned runs allowed. He has become as steady as any pitcher in baseball. And Ryan Carpenter just got lit up in his first start of this season. He's made 6 major league starts. His side has lost all 6. I don't see where he's a major league pitcher and he's facing a ridiculously hot lineup right now. The Astros are nothing here.
Drew Martin.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. It's Houston or pass for me too, Carpenter. Like Dave touched on, borderline major league pitcher at best, and he's coming from the left side. Houston absolutely rakes lefties. Team OPS #1 in MLB. It's Houston at the -200 price tag or nothing. Also towards the over.
Atlanta. 21-18 to the over. I've been telling you all year, bet them over blind. St. Louis. 21-17 to the over. Both these teams have a very, very similar record. Atlanta is a short dog at home, anywhere from plus 105 to 115. The over and under is 9 here, boys. Drew, I go to you first. Flaherty versus a name I can't pronounce.
Boltonevich.
We'll just go with Mike. Mike versus Jack, 2 creative parents, just similar to Drew and Dave. On the mound tonight, Drew, bottom line this game for us.
Yeah, and you can call him Fulte. That's what a lot of people do because of his name. And he's a pitcher that was a little bit nicked up. So as far as the extended spring training, didn't get to work a lot of that out. But he's a top-line pitcher. His future's bright, a high-ceiling guy. It's just the type of pitcher, when is he going to turn it around? I don't like picking the spot where pitchers are going to turn it around, so I've stayed away. But I'm not necessarily looking to fade Fulte, so it's just a game I haven't touched.
Dave Cokin?
Well, I have a little different opinion on Boltonevich. He's a max effort guy, every pitch, and his mechanics just get out of whack too often for me. I mean, he's got great stuff, but I just don't see him as being a guy who's ever going to be an ace. He'll show flashes of brilliance. Excuse me. But long term, I don't know. And I think he's going to be an injury risk throughout his career with that ridiculous max effort delivery. I mean, the guy practically falls into the first base dugout at times when he throws. Flaherty's going through a bit of a sophomore jinx, which I think had to be expected. Some of his numbers last year were a little bit phony. Command at times gets out of whack, and he's had some home run issues. I would lean to the Cardinals here, though, because Boltonevich is just not in good form. I mean, he's had 3 starts since coming off the DL. Not a lot of positives to come out of those starts. Atlanta's not playing particularly good baseball, neither are the Cardinals, for that matter. But, if this ends up in the bullpen, I trust the St. Louis bullpen considerably more than the Atlanta pen.
He's Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Guys, make sure to watch Puck Time today. Me, Andrew, and Carm. Also, Morning Joe and the Pro, Tony Finn. We talk basketball. And tomorrow, the Wednesday first pitch show, the highlight show of the week every Wednesday. Why is that? Well, because you have to put up with Teddy and myself. And anytime Teddy and the Prez are on radio or video together, it's usually a whole lot of fireworks. Drew, Minnesota hosting Los Angeles, Minnesota 25-15. The Angels 20-21 on the season. Minnesota is -130. The over and under is 9. Look, I get it. Bedrosian, better pitcher than Kyle Gibson right now.
He's only pitching 1 inning, so.
Yeah. I'm not overthinking this game. The bottom line for me is Minnesota is a much better team, and this is a short number. I like the Twins.
Yeah, I like the Twins too. Much better lineup. Also, keep in mind the Angels team OPS, one of the biggest discrepancies in MLB, a 250-point change from when they're hitting at home to on the road. So looking to fade the Angels when they're on the road, which they are tonight, going against this Twins lineup that's one of the most surprising in baseball. So it's Twins or pass for me.
Dave
Cokin? Bedrosian's going to open for Felix Pena. So Bedrosian will pitch 1 inning tonight, and then he'll hand it off to Pena. And Pena's looking a lot better lately. There's a couple of things on the Angels that are taking me out of this game. I'm not going to play the game. One, they're just a different lineup with Ohtani. Okay, I mean, he is a difference maker in that lineup. He had a long home run last night, and he changes the batting order. It's as simple as that. And here's the other thing. everybody knows I really like this Twins team a lot. But a little thing that I tend to follow is when a team has a game that they just could not get a hit that mattered. I have a tendency not to want that team the next night. The Twins last night did two things. First of all, they were 20-4 when scoring first, and they lost last night after leading 2-0. They were 11-2 off a loss. They also lost that last night. And they went 0-10 with runners in scoring position last night. Had some great opportunities to tie or go ahead and didn't take advantage of it. The Angels are kind of feeling it right now. I don't really like the price here. I don't think you're getting your money's worth on the Angels, but Minnesota looks really tempting at 125, 128. I don't think I would go with the Twins in this spot.
Kansas City 14-27 hosting Texas 17-21. Both teams stink. Both teams are playing to the over, especially Texas. We got Kansas City at minus 136 to 140. The over and under is 9.5. Texas is reeling. They got swept by Houston, lost all 4 games. Kansas City lost their last 2 to Philadelphia, and a whole lot of more games before that. Miller versus Duffy. Duffy has pitched okay. Only 17 innings pitched, 3 ERA, 136 WHIP. Miller is a disaster right now. 27 innings pitched, 7 ERA. Dave, I'll go to you first. If Kansas City could hit at all, this game would go over the total. I can't count on that happening, but these pitchers cannot allow an under bet. I think Texas is super live.
Money's coming in on the Royals, and I would agree with that. I'm not going to lay this kind of a price at the Royals, but Shelby Miller is a train wreck. He's just absolutely awful. It just speaks of how weak the Rangers starting pitching is that Shelby Miller is still getting starts at all. And I don't know why Texas doesn't go to an opener, at least when it's Miller's turn, and maybe let him face the bottom of the order first. I think that would make sense, but I'm not the manager. Duffy, his first start back off the DL wasn't good, but his last 2 have been impressive. Nicky Lopez has been called up by the Royals. I would assume he'll go right in the lineup tonight. And what that means is they get Chris Owings out of the lineup. And Chris Owings has been just simply awful. He's hitting he's hitting less than his weight, let's put it that way. So an upgrade in the Royals lineup, a real bad pitcher on the other side. The market jumped on this. I think at minus 120, where it opened, I might have played the Royals. 135, now the value is shot. In fact, I'm seeing some 140. I think the Royals will win, but not with a bet.
Drew, we got to get this show over with. We're running long. We're going to just go 1-for-1 for the remaining 4 games. I go to you about Arizona hosting Pittsburgh, 20-18 Pittsburgh, 23-19 Arizona. Pittsburgh got slaughtered last night, 9-3. The line is the home team. Minus 150, the over and under is 9. Weaver versus Musgrave. Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, I agree with the home team being priced like this, but just going against Musgrove, who's been a solid pitcher, but Pittsburgh lineup going against Arizona's lineup, especially of recent, the D-backs are definitely worth the look. But at this price, I just think it's a little too pricey. So real quick here, I just passed on it.
Dave, the Blue Jays, 16-24, playing to the under by 8 games in San Fran tonight. 60% of the general public is on San Francisco. The Jays are, 105, plus 105. San Fran minus 125. We have an over and under of 7.5 here. And talk about quiet bats, Dave. Toronto, if you go down their last 6-7 games, 1-2-4-1, 0-0-2. This team just can't hit the ball at all. You can't bet them over because their pitching sucks. You can't bet them under because their hitting sucks. And San Fran ain't much better. What do you want to do here?
Thornton, 2 good starts, then he kind of hit a brick wall on his last start and got whacked around. But he's shown some promise for the Blue Jays. Giants are going to go with Nick Vincent as the opener tonight. and then Tyler Beede will come on and pitch after that. So I kind of like what the Giants are doing there with Vincent, who's a pretty good relief pitcher, facing the toughest part of the Toronto order early. Not a game that really interested me either way. I think the price is. I actually make Toronto a small favorite here, but real small, like 105 on my projections. So there's not really at plus 110, not really enough to get me interested. I like more of a variance than that. So just a mild lean to the Blue Jays.
Dave, when are the managers going to adjust to this opener? Start putting their 7, 8, and 9 into the 1, 2, 3 spot.
Yeah, correct. It's an interesting thought, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, because it'll affect them later on in the game. Drew, the Dodgers versus the Padres. Dodgers are really, really good right now. 27 and 16. 70% of the money is coming in on them. They're minus 140. The over and under here is 7. San Diego's came down to earth, and they're zigzagging their last 6 games. Loss, win, loss, win, loss. They lost the series against Colorado, but did win against the New York Mets. Just recently played the Dodgers. 2 of the 3 games went over the total. They lost 2 of them. Where are we going in this game, brother? Kershaw on the mound. Not the Kershaw of old, but still better than Paddock.
Oh, boy, you're going to get an argument here.
Yeah, okay, fine. Paddock is better this year. I get it.
Well, he is.
Yeah, 1.55 ERA, 0.69 WHIP. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. I'll still take Kershaw.
I understand what you're saying. This is why this is the best game on the board to talk about. By the way, the Dodgers have won 14 straight Kershaw starts going back to last year. So I'm not running to the window to bet San Diego, but this Chris Paddock, the sheriff, this guy is nasty. I think this is the most fun game on the board to watch. I'm not going to bet it. Drew, you got anything here?
I just that Paddock's, in my opinion, top 5 pitcher in baseball. 2 really good bullpens, by the way. San Diego's bullpen in terms of K to walk rate is number 1 in baseball. I agree with you, Dave. Paddock, I'm not looking to step in front of him. Kershaw, a sexy name, still a good pitcher, but going from 95 down to 91, it can't go unaccounted for. And laying this price tag, man, it's the Padres or pass.
No, and I agree. I mean, look, I'll take Kershaw every day of the week, but I mean, if you're getting literally the best numbers in baseball in Paddock and you're getting him as a dog, it's hard not to put a little money on it. The over and under here is 7-2, which is interesting because, San Diego, they put up 7 last night, 4 the night before, and the Dodgers can hit the ball. I think it's San Diego or pass as well.
I go along with that.
Dave,
the only thing that stops me is that, I hate going into streaks, and it's 14 straight Kershaw starts the Dodgers have won. So
I can't step in front of either. Oakland 19 and 24, Seattle 21 and 23. We talked about Seattle's free fall yesterday, but I did tell everyone Seattle was going to turn it around and win last night. They did. They won 6-5. Tonight, they're even money at home. The over and under is 9. Dave, I go to you, Leak versus Anderson, and I like Seattle again.
Anderson's been better on the road than at home. Mike Leake's Mike Leake. I mean, he's just a workhorse who chews up innings, and he'll get you generally 6 innings and 3 or 4 runs. So if you hit when he's on the mound, they win, and if they don't, they lose. I don't know. Seattle's just awful. I know they good. That helps them last night. They did come back and get a win. I got to tell you really quickly, the bottom of the 2nd inning on Sunday at Fenway Park between Seattle and the Red Sox, you'd have thought you were watching a Little League team. A foul pop-up that a guy completely whiffed on. Another pop-up that a guy overruns, and then he's trying to get back, and he falls down on the wet grass. Jay Bruce drops a fly, just a simple fly ball, he just drops it, and then he throws to the wrong base after that. The Seattle team has double-digit more errors than any other team in baseball. Their relief pitching is awful. they're just a really bad baseball team that got off to one of the flukiest starts I've ever seen. I think they're just a fade team. I don't want any part of the Mariners right now. I'm not taking Oakland because Brett Anderson is maddeningly inconsistent. At least the Mariners did win last night, but Oakland would be the lean for me.
Listeners, that's the end of the show. It was a 40-minute show today. We're gonna get it down to 30 minutes in time. We got to make adjustments as Dave will be joining us every day. Drew, real pleasure, brother. Thanks for showing up. $2 Tuesdays at sportsmemo.com. Drew Martin is the man there, and Carmine Bianco is the man at WagerTalk. Listeners, we'll see you all tomorrow on First Pitch with Dave Cokin and Teddy Covers. Make sure to watch Morning Joe with me and Tony, NBA, and also Puck Time with me, Carmine, and Andrew. Boys, thanks for joining us today.
Dave, it was a pleasure. Prez, thanks for having me, man.
Okay, later, brother.
Nice.